Okay, everybody, so Module 1, Teaching Listening. And we got to get started with our introduction first. So let's take a quick look. It says, when we think about teaching listening and making listening activities, we should think about the following questions. Now, these are the questions I was mentioning previously after the review, right? In order to make good listening activities, we should keep these questions in mind. So let's take a look. What is real-life listening? How do I choose a good text and task? What are some common problems students encounter? What kind of listening activities are there? And finally, what are some examples and how can I possibly adapt them? So these are the kind of questions that we are going to deal with in this unit, right? Like it says here, these questions and more will be explored in this module. So I'll see you guys again in a few seconds. Okay, so Unit 1. What is real-life listening and what are the characteristics of real-life listening? So that is the question we're going to deal with in this unit. So let's take a look, guys. So first part here, it says, the goal of any listening comprehension practice in the classroom is for your students to learn how to properly listen in real-life listening situations. Now, of course that makes sense, right? Whenever we're doing listening practice in class, we have to try our best to get our students used to dealing with real-life situations, right? We don't want to just give them kind of textbook listening exercises. We want to prepare them for working or living in an English-speaking atmosphere. Anyhow, let's keep reading. With that in mind, we should start by examining what real-life listening is and what kind of things the listeners must do in order to satisfactorily comprehend in a variety of different listening situations. Okay, so honestly, I hope that makes a lot of sense to you guys. We want to try to think of real-life listening because we want our activities to be as close to real-life listening as possible. So let's take a look here. We got real-life listening situations, and our first task here is to gather some examples, right? So it says, start by making a list of as many situations as you can think of where people are listening to others in their own first language. Think of any situation in which it is important that the listener understand what the speaker is saying. Perhaps it would be a good idea to talk yourself through a regular day and think of all the different listening experiences that you encounter. Okay, guys, so try not to take a look at the box further on down below and try to think of as many real-life listening situations that you encounter in a day. Talk yourself through it, right? Kind of go through it, like, okay, I get up, and then what do I do after that? Oh yeah, like, you know, for example, you might think like, oh yeah, I start every morning by listening to the news, right? So maybe you write that down, the news. Or maybe you wake up and you start by listening to music, right? And you're like, okay, so music. Or maybe you just have, I don't know, a small conversation with your mom and dad, your brother or sister, something like that. Maybe you could write down small talk. And then later you go to work. What are you doing at work? Well, you're talking to your colleagues. Maybe you have to join a meeting, right? So you could write down meeting. And so on and so forth, right? So you guys, it would be a really good idea if you could pause the video now and write down as many real-life listening situations that you encounter on a regular basis.